am the CEO of E360 TV. E360 TV is in the now because we're all about encouraging and amplifying diverse voices getting out to the masses. What E360 TV's vision point of existing is that is the realization that there are so many different voices from around the world, coming from different cultures and backgrounds and perspectives. So our job then is to make sure that we are amplifying the voices from multiple cultures, because we want to have those perspectives heard and understood by the masses. Well, with the fostering now of the streaming platforms now, and being able to stack technology in a way that it's not so prohibitive, we're able to now put this out as a service to content creators and do it in a way that's not going to break the bank and allows for more voices to be able to be heard. Something special that happened with E360 TV, how we organically grew and how we were organically were diversified at the same time. It just happened. And I think that why this could be a spotlight or an example of what should be done is because it really truly is a pathway for diversity to organically happen in one place. And that, I think, is what people in the world need to see. So, like I said, there's a natural thing that happened with the 360 TV to become this epicenter for voices from diverse backgrounds, and is part of our mission to be the most diverse network on the planet. Being a host on E360 TV, I'm going to say, first of all, it's not for everyone. If it truly is in someone's heart, and that's where we like it to come from, is from someone's heart, that they really do have a message they want to get out to the world and be a part of E360 TV. You go to e360tv.com, and there's on the side you'll see a join us. You can also reach out through us to us via social media like Facebook or Twitter, or we're always under @E360TV. But that's the best way to get a hold of us, is go that route, and then we'll have a conversation and see if it's for you. I think we're living in a very monumental time. E360 TV, like I said, I mentioned, we want to be the most diverse network on the planet. And I know that's a big pie in the sky and kind of kumbaya type of thought, but whatever. But it's important for us to grow as a world society to know these perspectives. And that is what helps us educate ourselves about others and other human beings, and to be able to adapt to future changes, and to be able to look each other in the eye as just fellow human being to fellow human being. Well, thank you so much for your time. My name is Aaron Hymas. I'm the CEO of E360 TV, and stay kind.
I am so excited to bring you this discussion about Blacks in media. Today, we know that diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging is an ongoing conversation. And we don't want anyone to feel sidelined, anyone to feel silenced. But I had a recent experience that made me realize how small Black media numbers were in the whole. And I wanted to bring to the table today two amazing individuals who have quite unique disciplines that fuse with media. It's Dr. Renee Sunday and Dr. Cheryl Bryant Bruce. Both are medical doctors and both are in media. I first will introduce Dr. Renee. Welcome, welcome. Dr. Renee is a 25-year anesthesiologist. She has been rated as a top 100 anesthesiologist in America. She is a media powerhouse. She is a promoter of Good Deeds Magazine, Good Deeds TV show, podcast. She has a power and passion for empowering women and people from around the world. And she is about unleashing the voice so people can be seen, be heard, and get paid. And we have Dr. Cheryl Bryant Bruce, who is I want to make sure I get this right. You are integrative wellness management and longevity and into longevity medicine.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a mouthful.
Absolutely correct.
But obviously it's something that we've needed because we've talked about the needs in Black and Brown communities and how we can help improve our life cycle and quality of life when it comes to access to medicine. She is also a celebrity in her own right. She is an actress. She has been featured on The Doctors, Access Hollywood. She is now the host of Chatters That Matter. And she also has a passion for elevating the voice of the people. And the people may be you, it may be me, but she really believes in listening into those critical messages and finding a way, even if it's on the streets of Las Vegas, interviewing people to find out what their perspectives are about what's happening within their community. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here, Luana.
I want to ask you both this question. I want to start with Dr. Sunday and then to you, Dr. Cheryl. I mean, you guys you're rock stars in medicine.
Oh.
How on earth did you say, okay, I'm healing people. I'm doing some amazing things. I'm bringing hope to families. I'm teaching wellness. Oh, I got to do something over here on the media. How did that happen?
Well, what's the saying? Make a long story short. It was not by my doing, in all transparency. Back in the day when I written my first book, which was 2013, I think. We were not on social media, and so one of my friends said, "Well, you have to get on social media to promote your book," and it was about grief. And, back then the algorithm was a little different. Okay. And so people would see you and they say, how can you talk so positive, so encouraging, so motivational when it comes to grief? And so this lady here in Atlanta, Hot ATL, contacted me. She said, it's just something about you. Do you mind, without talking to me on the phone or anything, just, the DM, as they call it? She said, would you like to be the co-host of my radio TV show, our syndicated radio back then, and then magazine? And I said, well, okay. But anyway, and so I was with her under her wings for about a year, but people would pull me aside and say, Dr. Sunday, you need to do this for your own. I'm like, not a physician. And so I took that leap of faith, and it's been amazing since then. I mean, within 3 months, we were on Oprah Winfrey's platform. We were part of the media of TD Jakes media. And then we were, as you guys, part of the NFL when we went to the Super Bowl. And so it just went real quick. And so it's just being positioned in the right place at the right time.
I love what you said. So you sort of happened upon the opportunity, but because you were willing to open up to what it possibly have, lean into your giftings and talents, trust the partnerships around you, all these amazing doors started to open.
Yes, that's right.
I'm truly
grateful for that.
Yes, that's. Thank you so much for sharing, Dr. Cheryl. I know you've got a similar story, so tell us a little bit about that.
Actually, mine's a bit different, a good bit different, because I started in front of the camera in entertainment From the time I was just a little sprite. I come from a bit of an entertainment family. My mother was a dancer. My father was a musician. And I got my first organ when I was 5 years old. I had my first international media piece when I was 13 years old. And then all along, of course, preparing for not medicine, but veterinary medicine, and made the shift to medicine my last year in college. Throughout that time, I was also in entertainment and continued to do so all the way throughout my medical career, juggling both careers. So I was always kind of in front of the camera. Then in 1995, I was first exposed to medical media by my child's pediatrician, because her name was Dr. Runette Flowers there in Atlanta. You may know Dr. Runette. Dr. Runette was actually over the board for many, many years. And she was in the media. She had a news, a television show early in the morning on a regular basis. So that was the first time I saw a physician in media reporting. And it just kind of progressed over the years. I ended up landing in Beverly Hills. And when I landed in Beverly Hills, that really threw me into the media. I was working in entertainment, and I was working for celebrities. The media got hold of that story, and they started calling me the celebrity doc. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I started my journey in radio with Blog Talk Radio in 2008. That show stayed on the air until 2011. And then my partner who developed it with me passed away. And I just couldn't do it for a while. And then I resurrected it again in 2016 with my co-host and producer, Hisham El-Monti, Hurricane H.
I love that. See, I thought I was getting to know you, and you just threw me a curveball.
There were lots of curveballs here.
I had no idea that you kind of grew up in the platform, and I love that because we never know how our lived experiences are going to intersect and elevate us to where we are today, and it's amazing. So there's definitely some compliments in what you've done and what Dr. Renee has done. You've both been on some major platforms. You have you can say been seen in, have collaborated with some great names and influencers. One of the things, though, you two are an exception, right? Yes, you're an exception. Our numbers are small, but your numbers are even smaller when you're looking at these combined disciplines, and then even smaller when you're looking at the opportunities that you were granted.
Yes,
I'd like you to both speak to someone who is aspiring to be in media, not really certain what that may look like, other than they know that they are a Black or brown man or woman, and they know there's certain obstacles that they have to overcome. They want to be seen as a media professional first. And if you happen to refer to them as a Black or brown person, okay. But they want to be seen as that media professional, that media expert. Dr. Sunday, what would you say to that person? And then I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Cheryl.
I just love that question. The thing that's so interesting that I have to say, going back to what we talked about earlier, you know how when you're in church and they take the pictures and back in the day, you give you a prompt. Well, my prompt was a telephone. So I didn't realize that talking and getting in trouble in school for talking, that was going to be a great thing. So a lot of people start that way. If you look at anyone in media and comedy and even acting, singing, the thing that you almost got in trouble with is actually one of your wonderful gifts and talents. And I want people to know that, especially now in this time, so many people need to hear from your voice. As you can tell, I'm a Southern Belle. And when I first started media, I tried, quote unquote, to sound different. You know what I'm going with this. And actually, of all people, when Oprah heard my voice and my last name Sunday, she behind the scenes, she said, "Oh my God, her last name Sunday, and she sounded like a Southern Belle." It was a great thing. And I was like, when she said that, I was like, okay, but that means it's supposed to, but sometimes we think that we're not as powerful that we are. But I want to let whoever's listening, whoever's seeing this, no matter what time, you are powerful and your voice is powerful. Because somebody right now don't know the direction, they don't know what to do next. But what you say may get them, we've experienced this in the wonder, right? Get them out of bed. They may get them to go to their next step in life. So we need to realize that we have so much power inside of us that somebody need right now.
I love that. I remember listening to Oprah's story, and one of the people who she admired in media, because we didn't at the time when she was coming up, there wasn't a lot of women represented, period. And right. Barbara Walters was a big influencer in her life. But she was trying to emulate Barbara Walters. Well, it's all about developing your signature, your sound, your presence, that unique fingerprint, right? So that you become indelible, not a copycat or replica of someone else. Dr. Cheryl.
Well, I think that the one thing that I would say is, believe in yourself. If you see something that you want, you have to believe in yourself. The second big thing is to create your own opportunities. Nobody is going to give it to you in this business. If you're waiting for someone to hand it to you or to make a way for you, it's just not going to happen for you. You have to create your own opportunities. And Luana got the opportunity to see me at work doing that in Vegas. Very busy making things happen. The third thing that is really important is that you always have to be ready. You always have to be prepared, because you never know when those opportunities are going to show up. And if you're not ready, you'll miss them. So you want to create your opportunities. You want to recognize when opportunities are there and stick your foot squarely in the door, because there will be people trying to close the door on you, particularly as a minority in the media. There will always be people trying to close the door on you, and it's your job to get your foot firmly wedged in and to open that door for yourself and make that opportunity happen.
I love that. Well said, ladies. We are almost out of time. One last question for both of you before we go is, I'll turn it to Dr. Sunday. And the question is, actually, it's two questions. One is, what is next for the Good Deeds brand? And number two, what lasting words would you like to tell our listening audience, and how can they contact you?
Now, that's a very powerful question, right? My team would want to know the answer to that. It's funny. I have to continue the brand because people have told me so many times how important it is to hear from someone that's Black, that looks like me. So the kids to have an example. So we have to continue that. We're actually, as we speak, negotiating a couple of contracts to be on bigger platforms. Of course, I can't say the names right now, but I want you to know, just like we have to stay in this game because we need each other. And the last thing I want to say is, I always say on my platform, we mentioned already today, is you're not a mistake. And I believe we have to do these three things. We have to believe, we have to trust, and we have to walk it out. When I say walk it out, just like we said already, we have to take an action. And the action is what you choose that's best for you. And so if you want to contact me, all my social media is Dr. Renee Sunday, and that's DRRENEE Sunday, like the day of the week, SUNDAY. So thank you so much, Dr. LaWanda, for this amazing opportunity.
Thank you. And this is funny. I'm not a doctor yet,
Yet.
But while I was walking, you see, I use the word yet. Every place I was going during Media Week, they were announcing me as doctor. And by the last interview, I was tired of correcting them. I'm like, okay, there must be some prophetic something going on
Yeah,
here.
because it just came out like whoop. So yes, it is.
Oh, we shall see what God has in store.
Don't worry, you'll be there.
I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Cheryl, with the same two questions, and definitely let everyone know how to reach you. And Dr. Renee, I wanted to just confirm they can reach you at Dr. Renee Sunday on all things social media, correct?
Yes, and the website is reneesunday.com.
Okay, let me put that up here. So we have here Dr. Renee Sunday, all things social media, Dr. Renee Sunday, and you can visit her on her website at reneesunday.com. And now over to the Chatters That Matter queen, Dr. Cheryl Bryant Bruce. Two questions are, what lasting words would you like to leave with our listening audience? And what is next for Chatters That Matter and the Cheryl Bryant Bruce media brand?
Okay, I think that the final words that I would like to leave everybody with is, it's actually our motto: you are your greatest asset, invest in yourself. So again, you have to believe in yourself, you have to make those opportunities, and when you see them, stick your foot in the door and go for them. What's next for me? We have several things on the plate. I'm doing a lot of public speaking. I'm in the process of finishing a book, and we have a big summit coming up in June 14th through 16th. That will be in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it is called Live Your Epic Life. And we talk about how you can create balance, so to speak, in your life, in the areas emotional, mental, physical, financial, family plus 5 ride or die friends, social and spiritual, your spiritual core out of which everything grows, bringing it all together so that you can have a purpose-filled life of abundance. Hope that you will join us for that event. You can find out more about it and follow along as it progresses by reaching out to me at www.CherylBryantBruceMD. You can also reach me on social media. All of my social media is the same, Cheryl Bryant Bruce MD, and I'm on all of the platforms. Chatters That Matter is growing. We have a lot of really interesting programs coming up, some great celebrity guests, some not so celebrity guests, but definitely some fascinating topics coming up on the table. You can find that show by just going over to the website, or you can Google us. We're all over Google, and you can find any of the platforms there in Google. Again, that is Cheryl Bryant Bruce MD. The only one that is different is TikTok or X, and you can find me there at Celebrity Doc.
Thank you so much. So we have Cheryl Bryant Bruce at www.CherylBryantBruceMD on all social media except for TikTok at Cheryl Bryant Bruce MD, and TikTok is Celebrity Doc. Yes. Ladies, thank you so very much.
Oh, no. Actually, not TikTok. That's Twitter. TikTok is also Cheryl Bryant Bruce MD.
Okay, there we go. Let's do this again. You can contact Dr. Cheryl Bryant Bruce at www.CherylBryantBruceMD, Cheryl Bryant Bruce MD on all things social media, and on X, Celebrity Doc.
Yes, ma'am.
Ladies, thank you so very much for being a part of this special Black History episode where we are spotlighting Blacks in media. And what I loved about this message is we were leaning into a message that really resonates with all communities. It's about showing up, being seen, being heard, feeling empowered through your voice, and being able to intersect disciplines, surround yourself with critical partnerships. And both of you said, be ready to seize the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Your voice matters. Thank you so much, ladies. Until next time.
Thank you.
I am back again. This is so exciting. I hope you all have been enjoying this so far, where we have been talking about Blacks in the media. It is Black History Month, and I love my people. I love my culture. I love my community. And the one thing that I realize that is so important, that as a segment of the population who's been marginalized for so long, that it is time that not only we be seen, but we be heard. And it's about elevating our voices, elevating our narrative, being a part of the change that to challenge some of those false perceptions that are out there, because people just don't know what they don't know. And if we often wait and allow our stories to be told by others, they're going to be misinterpreted. And that's not what we want. And today I have two very special guests here. I'm excited, who are Black media owned. I'm going to call them moguls, because they are moguls in the making. They are moving and shaking in their own respective lanes. We first have Mr. Ben Shuttert III out of Forney, Texas. He is the founder and CEO of BS3 Network, a broadcasting media company. And his focus is on providing a creative platform to give people the opportunity to express themselves and to do so authentically. He is a Morehouse grad, and he has an MBA in HR management. Welcome, Ben.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm glad to be here, and glad to see you again.
Same here. And we have Dr. David Watts, who is a senior partner of OnStage Plus, a digital streaming platform that brings to the stage the theater, speaking platforms, motivational speakers, comedy, music, and talk. He has over 17 years of experience in the entertainment industry, and he received his PhD in media studies from the Institute for Social Interaction. His focus is on amplifying the presence of Black Africans. I'm going to say African Americans and the Black diaspora in media, which is so very much needed. I met these two gentlemen. David and I met, the LED Tour. So back in September, Michigan State University had my first introduction, and Ben and I met at one of the biggest stages, Super Bowl Media Week.
Right. Yep.
And that was a pleasure. And thank you both for actually having me on your stages to interview. I truly found it an honor and a privilege. And it was my second and third time being interviewed by an African-American man. That meant so much to me. Thank you.
Wow. You're welcome. Glad we were able to make it happen.
Yes. So I did a little research, and I was shocked to find that only 4% of all media is represented by African Americans. And when we were at Super Bowl Media Week, both of you were there, and I'd like to bounce this off of both of you to get your thoughts. I was walking up and down, looking at all these media outlets, 258 plus media represented from around the world. And I only counted 5 that were Black owned. Did I miss something, gentlemen?
Well, okay. So, like I said, we're really glad to be able to bring you to Super Bowl Media Week. This is our eighth year doing it, and you counted 5. And I'm going to tell you that is actually growth when it comes to the NFL. Unfortunately, as we know, the NFL, and statistically we look at it, we as people of color overwhelmingly buy the merchandise, we buy the tickets, we buy the season passes, and we support and contribute billions of dollars to that industry. But we are really not underrepresented when it comes to our media space, as you saw firsthand, and when it comes to the advertising and things the NFL will do with media companies. This is not new. The NFL also has been trying to reach out to other geographic areas. Just recently, and I'm not sure what teams they were, I think it was Detroit Lions or something, played a game in Germany in hopes of getting that market because they understand that their market share is shrinking. A few years ago, if you remember, they had NFL blackout where a lot of our people were like, I'm not going to be watching NFL games.
Right.
And that actually hurt them. And they were kind of like, as opposed to looking and going, we're going to do more in the space for people of color, African Americans, they said, we're going to go overseas and try and get the eyeballs from people that watch soccer traditionally.
Yeah, and I think that was during the Kaepernick.
Yes.
There was a lot, and there's still some to this day that don't watch for that reason.
Yes, absolutely. So this is, it's whoever the powers that be are just not getting it. And we still participate in these events. Like I said, we have experiences. NFL Media Week is one. We have the Cannes Film Festival coming up in May in Cannes, France. So we're going to be allowing people or asking people if they want to participate in that. But we want to go to places that are going to, what do they say? Go to places where you're celebrated, not just tolerated. And there are a lot of media there, which is why we chose to actually still engage with them. But as we find other outlets like FIFA is coming, we're going to probably start offering those experiences because, this is something where we're not underrepresented and they don't seem to be making a difference.
Yeah. And I agree with you there. And this is, so as an organization, this is our second year. The first year I wasn't there. We were granted media credentials, but it was just to be able to walk around. We didn't actually have a table last year. So I think also part of it is they're granting credentials, but it's just called Week of Game, and you get to roam. So there was a lot of people I know that I've known in media for a while that are Black owned that didn't necessarily get a actual table. They just got the credentials to have access to Radio Row. So I think that is also another part of it, that there were more people there, but it's just to actually have a physical space was definitely limited. And I agree, had to have been 5, and I know 2 of them. So it tells you right there.
Yeah, it's tragic that, in 2024, we are still, fighting for representation. And you mentioned something, David, when you were talking about the advertising dollars. And I was listening to a podcast with, the great Byron Allen. I mean, he is scarfing up some territory and has some big dreams. In fact, I was surprised that he owns 90% of all Black-owned media right now. He's trying to just bring back and have us controlling our own narrative, right? But doing so as a collective. But what he said was, we're 14% of the population, African Americans, those of the African diaspora, are 14% of the U.S. population. And he said he is fighting that at a minimum, we get 15% of the ad budget. That and we're not. He said we're nowhere close.
Yeah.
And in fact, he actually had a lawsuit against McDonald's. Was an example of, okay, our people are patronizing you,
right? But
then when it comes to you allowing your ads to show on their platforms, you're not doing it. And the FCC has guidelines about diversity in media. So he's really using, and I think it's important if we're in certain spaces and we want to play hard and have impact, we got to know the laws. We have to know what resources are available and how to leverage that. And so he's using some of the laws, some of his influences to challenge the status quo. So I want to ask the two of you, I'm going to start with Ben on this. Because your platforms are your baby. How are you using your platform of BS3 to challenge the status quo and make a difference?
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things of what we do is our kind of base is people that are not into podcasting, but they have an idea or they have something that they want to be able to speak to. And so those are kind of our base of people that we get into podcasting. We allow them to use the platform, use our following. And then also we partner with a company called Pod Digital Media. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, but it's owned by a Black man, and he partners podcasters with larger brands. And so we utilize that to also provide the shows with advertising dollars that, they can have to either boost their show or, side money or whatever. So I think our thing is to empower and to inspire podcasters that didn't think maybe they could do a podcast, but also giving them the tools and resources they need, but also, bring in the advertising dollars that we're able to bring in.
Well, that's powerful, and I'll be getting with you to learn a little bit more about pod digital media. But it's like when you're in that space, and I'm going to turn it to you to answer the question, David, as well. When you're in this space or in any unique space where you're trying to amplify, to be seen and be heard, you don't know what you don't know, right? So it's seasoned veterans like both of you, in your own lanes, to help guide newbies like me. And also give us space to show up and to expand. And I can't emphasize enough what that meant for me at Super Bowl Media Week. David.
Yeah.
Thank you. You guys, it's an ongoing battle. We basically this is going to be our sixth year with the network. And from the beginning, we normally would monetize. We'd have people pay to have their shows on the network. But that, of course, didn't allow us to grow because it was contingent upon people having the show on the network. And once again, if you don't, like you say, you don't know what you don't know, people are like, well, I'm on TV, but how do I make money from it? And I remember reading Will Smith's biography. He said, there's nothing worse than being famous and broke. So we looked at that and we said, okay, we've got to go to an advertising kind of model. And we tried starting with smaller companies, and we kind of ran into that same roadblock where, as Byron Allen, and I'm not sure the numbers, but I think 2%, Procter & Gamble said they're going to try to commit 2% of their advertising budget toward media companies that are run by people of color. Yeah. However, that doesn't mean that it's formed and run. It means that basically there's a Black probably figurehead. And then they can say, okay, we're giving the money to you, but in reality, they're really giving it to themselves, Right. So what we've had to do is we really had to go and start utilizing our reach to other brands that are unfortunately sometimes outside the United States. Like I said, we're doing the Cannes Film Festival, so we're working with new advertisers that are in the UK, that are, of course, in France. We just had a meeting the other day with people that are working with Daihatsu that are in Japan. So unfortunately, they tend to sometimes be a little more amenable when it comes to advertising on our networks. We have a new service we're about to roll out too called brand development, where we're actually going to help people monetize their brands. So whether they have a podcast on our network, they have a TV show, or they're doing merchandise or seminars, to be able to generate that revenue from the advertisers that we have overseas. Because here in the United States, when they look at us, they're just not seeing the value. And I don't know why, because they want our money, but they don't want to give us their money, So yeah, it's been
a two-way street,
yeah.
But they only see it as a one-way.
Yes.
So here's a question that I have for both of you, and Ben, I'll toss it to you first. Representation, meaning our voice, and having fair representation of our voice, our experience. Do you think it's important, and explain why or why not, if there is a story about something happening within the African American community or greater diaspora, that we also have Black media or Black media, Black journalists representing the voice of the community, or does it really matter? Or does it just, as long as the story's covered? Is that what's important?
No, we definitely need to be on the ground reporting on it, because most of the time details will be left out. A lot of the times it won't be fully explained, and it'll be the narrative will be put in a certain direction to where it is not beneficial to us. So we definitely have to, if there's a story or there's something going on, we need to be there, because I believe we would be the ones to tell the true story and not allow the news to tell the story. I think it's very important, and we definitely need to be there for sure.
Thank you, David.
I was trying to think of this this story. What is it? And you guys probably know it better than I do. It said until the lion writes the story or gets the gun or something, the story will always favor the hunter, right?
Mm.
And we cannot have. And was it Winston Hughes who said, "Far too long have others told our story." And I'm
Yes.
paraphrasing this,
Yeah.
but you're absolutely right that nobody can tell our story but us who lived it. You can't go into our community and think you know what we're experiencing, what we went through, what we're going through, and tell it through the lens if you haven't lived through that lens. So it's absolutely important. But, I look at back, was it in the 1920s, there were a lot of African-American theaters. We had, oh my God, I forget his name, Oscar Michaud, I believe his name was. And he was a great filmmaker back in like the 1920s. And he would make movies. They would be shown in black theaters because we couldn't go into white theaters.
Right.
But the minute they saw all that money being generated in black theaters, they said, well, y'all come here as long as you sit in the back. We ran in droves from our own people so we could be accepted. So I say that to say that's one of the things we've got to start really supporting our own and understanding. I got to get on a soapbox, and I hate the fact I get people to go, well, my show's going to be on Tubi. And I get that all the time. And they go, well, Tubi has 74 million viewers every day and everything. And I'm like, okay, we've got 260 million reach globally. But when you're talking about the daily numbers, yes, we're not at those numbers yet. We have about 100,000. But Tubi's owned by Fox. What is Fox's narrative when it comes to people of color? You're going there, you're putting your shows in there, and I've got different filmmakers that go, well, I'm making pretty good money on Tubi. I go, great, but what risk? And what is the benefit that you're doing in the long term? And we're not seeing that because we're just seeing, I'm getting paid now. Like, well, Matt's taking good care of me now.
Right.
Exactly. But it's like down the road, what's going to happen when he decides to pull that from under you or close the door? Then you're going to be looking, going, well, now where can I go?
Right.
We've been playing checkers. We need to start playing chess.
Right.
I agree. I had some people, when I told them that I was going to do this show, they're like, Luana, you're on E360 TV and you're bringing other media on the show. And I'm like, yeah, because it's the Black voice. Media to me is media. I'm thankful for my home at E360 TV. And one of the things that I love about the owner, even though he is white, he has a huge, he's strategically placed, like anyone in business, right? It's like, okay, how do I maximize my reach, not only within the white community, but now the broader community? We know America is browning. So if I'm going to survive as a media outlet, I've got to change to represent the people who I serve. And I love that he's created this diverse platform where we have show hosts of all backgrounds and persuasions and men and women, and that he gives us the session to come together as show hosts and talk about the issues. And I think it helps us to understand. And the challenge, and I want to pitch this to you, and this is the last question that I have. I started off on XOD, and I love what they're doing. They're doing great work based out of Atlanta. The person who brought me on kindly asked me to exit off because they told me I was too diverse. And I said, okay, it's good to have Black pride and to push the Black voice and the Black narrative, or to be a media channel that is solely focused on the Black message. But if you didn't have in your contract that that's who you are, and I come on and I told you what I do, and I'm representing, because at that time my show was representing the voice of women around the world, but you didn't want to hear about the voice of women around the world. You only wanted to hear about Black American voices.
Yeah.
And so I was asked to leave. And the sad thing is, the shows had great content. They took all the shows down. They didn't want to have any of them archived. So I was like, well, I'll go to whoever will take me right now, because I got a message and not even my people are going to sideline me.
Right. Yeah.
So just your closing thoughts before we sign off on just us really supporting each other, no matter like you two have your unique platforms, and the way you're going about telling your stories are unique to you and your passions. But you're two Black men supporting a broader cause. If we can't support one another and celebrate one another, what are we doing this for?
Right, right.
Ben, and then I'll let you close it out, David.
Yeah, and to David's point, being able to partner with people and allow people to get their voice out. And I think also it's a training when you have new people that are not familiar with these platforms, not familiar how to run it. There's a holding a hand of such to get people to a point to where they can understand how to use these. So, I mean, and that's our thing. We give people, free range. Obviously, if it's offensive and it gets too out of control, obviously we'll have conversations about that, but we give them range to be able to talk about the things that they deal with and the things that they've experienced. So I think it's very important that we do work together and that we do communicate with each other. And it may not be being on each other's network, but it could be just giving advice, lending a helping hand. Like I want to talk to David, because I think he could probably give me some tips and some tools and some things that I can learn. So I think if we need to stop with the tit for tat and going after each other. We can collaborate. Doesn't mean we have to do everything together, but we can collaborate and learn from each other. I don't think we should hold what we know. What share it out with other people.
Absolutely. I mean, and I definitely, Ben, please, because I know we talked briefly in Las Vegas. Yeah, we definitely need to collaborate. I am really, and I say this ad nauseum, the African adage, if you want to go alone, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go further, go together. And we know people that are going nowhere fast. It is important because there shouldn't be we're not a monolith as a people, and it shouldn't be to where you've only got to be on this network. No, our network's going to reach people that other people might not see. Your network's going to reach people that other people might not see. What is the matter with us collaborating? And that's the problem, I think, for far too long have we been pitted against each other and sold into this divisive mindset. But we need to come together because we know there is strength in numbers. And even, I think it was Benjamin Franklin said, a house divided against itself cannot stand.
Right.
In the military, I remember when I was recruited to the Marine Corps, in the military, they say first you go for a command to disseminate that, and that way people can't get orders and you can then pick off the rank and file. We have been targeted in a military type mindset where we're spread against each other. If we come together, they can't stop us. So we absolutely need to do it. That makes no sense. I had no idea, and I don't know EXO did. I'm not familiar with that platform, but that's crazy. They should have embraced what you were doing, uplifted it, and then said, we're going to put yourself in here and go to another one, because when you're at E360 TV, XOD, whatever it is, the message is getting spread even further. That's crazy to try to silence your voice, but that's their loss. So
yeah, true.
Yes. Well, gentlemen, thank you so very much for being a part of Choose to Challenge for Black History Month, where we're celebrating Blacks in media. We have here Ben Stutter III. If you want to follow him, you can follow him on all things social media, but bs3network.com, and Dr. David Watts with Onstage Plus, and you can watch them on onstageplus.live. Gentlemen, thank you so very much for being a part of Choose to Challenge. I'm excited for the upcoming things that you all will be doing. Look forward to celebrating you and possibly even partnering in the future.
Yes, thank you
so much for having me.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
All right.
And we will see you next week for another edition of Choose to Challenge.